Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you how to cut and sew this short gown with drawstrings at the side and a cut together sleeve. If this tutorial is what you're interested in watching, then stick with me to the end. I have with me here a designed chiffon fabric of 2 yards, and I've gone ahead to fold this into 4 along the yardage area. The width of this fabric after folding is 18 inches. Next, I'm going to roll my starting line at the top part using 0.5 inch. On this line, I'm going to mark the neck width, which is 2.5 inches. Now, if you want to mark 3 inches, then it's okay. After that, I'm going to come downward by 1 inch for the back neck depth. Then I would mark 7 inches for the front neck depth. This is folded into 4, so we are working on the front and the back together. Then I'll go ahead now and connect the back neckline this way, after which I'm going to connect the front neckline. From the center here, I'm going to measure 7 inches as the half shoulder width measurements. Then from that 7 inches, I'm going to mark the sleeve length. So the sleeve length I'm working with is 9 inches. I'm going to mark 9 inches here, and this leftover that I have here will serve as the allowance for the sleeve. Next, I will come downward by 10 inches for the sleeve opening. Now, if you want your sleeve opening to be bigger than this, then go ahead and increase it. You can increase this to 12 inches, 11 inches if you want to. Then from this 10 inches mark, I will go inward by 2.5 inches. After that, I'm going to connect this way. I will draw a curve from this edge through to the 2.5 inches downward. Now we are going to take the length of this dress. So from the starting line, I'm going to measure the length. The knee length is 40 inches, but I'm going to come upward by 3 inches. That is 37 inches. After marking 37 inches, I'm going to mark the hem allowance of 2 inches. I'll come to this side of the fabric and also mark 37 inches for the actual dress length now. Next, I'm going to mark the hem allowance. Afterwards, I will connect them this way. So I'm just going to mark the 2.5 inches on the side of the fabric to the hem, then I would connect. After connecting this, I'll go ahead now and cut this out. This side is unfold. I'm going to open this sleeve up so they would stay separate. I'll cut only the back neckline, and once I'm done cutting that, I would separate the back from the front so I can cut the front neckline alone. Now we are going to make the facing for this dress. I'm going to fold this piece of fabric into 2. Then I will place the front piece over this. After that, I'm going to cut out the neckline and the shoulder area. Next, I will take off the front piece and cut the base like so. Once I'm done, I'm going to do the same thing for the back. I'm going to lay the back piece over this fabric. Then I will cut the neckline and the shoulder. I'll take off the back piece, then I'm going to shape the end of the facing this way. The next that we are going to do is to cut the fabric for the string. Now I'm going to measure 2 inches for the fabric width, and I'm going to cut 2 of these, given that the length of this string that I have here, that's the length of the fabric, is about 60 inches. So I'm going to cut just 2 of this. Now we are on to the stitching of this dress. I'm going to lay the front piece down, and I will place the facing right side, and I will sew this way. I'll bring in the back piece like so, and I will place the facing onto this back piece, right side facing right side as well. Then run my stitches around the neckline. Alright, I'm done stitching the neckline, and I've also hemmed the edges of this facing. Next, I'm going to notch all these parts. After notching, I'm going to trim off the seam allowance here Then I will turn this facing now to the wrong side of this dress. I'll bring in the back part and also notch the neckline. After notching, I'm going to lay the back piece onto the front so that we can close up the shoulders. So you are going to use the facing of the back to wrap up the shoulders of the front and back piece. After wrapping, you pin them down. I'll hold the shoulders of this side this way, then pick the facing of the back, use that to wrap other areas, then pin them down. So we are going to run our stitches along the shoulder area now. Once we are done with that, we'll also hem the base of this dress using our 2 inches hem allowance. And yes, we are done with the hemming of this dress. So this is what we have here. All right, and the shoulder areas, we are also done closing up the shoulder areas. Next is for us to hem the sleeve opening. You're going to hem the sleeve. Afterwards, you will sew the sides close. You will use 1 inch to stitch up the sides. So I'm done stitching the sides and hemming the sleeve opening. Next, we are going to notch this cuff part at the sleeve area, so that when this is turned to the right side, it will be well relaxed. Now from the starting line, I'm going to come downward by 15 inches for the under bust measurement. So you're going to measure your under bust here. Next, you're going to turn the fabric this way because we want to sew the channels for the string. Now what you will do, you will open up the seam this way and fold the edges inward. You can see what I'm doing. You fold the edges inward. I will just go ahead and pin that down. So we are going to run our stitches on this side and on the other side. I'll come to the side of the fabric, and from the starting line, I'll come downward by 15 inches. Now I'm going to open up my seam and pin this area where I marked 15 inches. You're going to fold in that seam and run your stitches from that point downward. That will serve as the channel. And this is it. I've gone ahead to sew the channels for this dress. You can see what our dress looks like. Everything is set. Now we are going to pass our string into these channels. You can see each side has 2 channels. So I'm going to bring in the string. Like I said, I have this to be about 60. So measuring now, we have this at 62 inches. All right, I'll go ahead now and fold this string into 2 so that we can divide this. So altogether, I have 4 strings with me since I've divided the 2 that I initially cut. Now I will use my pin, my setting pin, to pass this string into individual channels. So once I get to that point where I pinned, that's the area where we marked 15 inches, I'm going to bring the setting pin out. Then I will use an affix pin to hold the string in place so it doesn't slip back into the channel. I'm going to do this for the second channel. I'll pass the string into the second channel. Once I'm done passing the string, I will also go ahead and pass the strings into the other 2 channels. After that, I'm going to stitch on this area to hold both strings down. This is the final look, guys. We are done passing the string, and this is what it looks like. You can actually make this dress as a short gown, even as a top. Just follow the same process. It's just the length that you would have to reduce. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.